All right, Marauders. In this lesson, 3.3 formula weights, we're going to learn how to calculate the formula weight of a compound as well as learning to calculate percent composition. So we've already learned about average atomic masses, and that was the number on the periodic table, the decimal number, telling you what the mass of an average atom of that type is. And so we know that molecules are made up of atoms, and if we know what type of atom a molecule is made up of, and we know the mass of each atom, we can figure out the formula weight or the mass of the entire molecule. So here we have H2O, and so we have two hydrogens. So we're going to do 2 times the mass of hydrogen. So 2 times, if we look back at the periodic table, the mass of hydrogen is 1, plus the mass of an oxygen, which is 16. So that's going to give us a total mass of 18. Here we have propane, C3H8. So we have 3 times the mass of carbon, which is 12. And we have 8 times the mass of hydrogen, which is 1. And that's going to give us 44. Down here, copper 2 nitrate. So we have a copper. We look on the periodic table and we find that its mass is 63.6 for the copper. And then we have nitrogen. We have 2 of them. So plus 2 times the mass of nitrogen, which is 14. Plus oxygens, we have 6. So 6 times 16 for the oxygens. So we'll add those together and you get 187.6. I typically round these to the nearest tenth. Some people round up to the nearest hundredth, but typically for most of the things that we're doing, rounding to the nearest tenth is going to be good enough. The other thing in this section is percent composition. So percent composition is the percent by mass of each element in a compound. So how do you do this? You find the mass of each element and divide it by the total mass, then multiply by 100. So if we wanted to find the percent composition of each element in C2H4O, first thing I would do is be to add up the mass of this entire compound. So we'd have 2 times the mass of carbon, which is 12, plus 4 times the mass of hydrogen, plus the mass of oxygen. And so we add that together and we get 44. So the mass of our entire compound is 44. And then we'll do the carbons first. So the percent by mass that is carbon is equal to the mass of all the carbons, so 2 times 12, divided by 44, and then times 100. The percentage that is hydrogen will be the mass of all the hydrogens, so 4 times 1, over the total mass, 44, times 100. And the percent by mass that is oxygen is going to be the mass of the oxygens. There's only one oxygen. The mass of oxygen is 16. So 16 over 44 times 100. All right, and so this gives us for the carbons, you have 54.5% carbon by mass. For the hydrogens, 9.1%. And for the oxygens, 36.4% oxygen. So notice that even though there's four hydrogens, so hydrogens make up the largest percentage by number of atoms, but by mass it's the smallest because each hydrogen is very, very light. And carbons, even though there's only 2 of them in the compound, make up more than half of the mass.